my foot high. So, yeah, here we're at.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to the show. Now, I've been really looking forward to this, not only because math is my sort of home ground or where I like to live, but also because my son is engaged in a project in the school or some kind of stuff that you're doing, and so he's very eager with that. And also, what you're doing is actually quite awesome. But please give us an introduction of what you do.
Well, I'm founder of a company called House of Math. It is a tutoring company which specializes on the quantitative subjects. So math, physics, chemistry, finance, economics, anything that has to do with numbers, really. So my background initially is that I'm a lecturer in maths and physics, where I did my master's in mathematical finance. So as a lecturer, that is a pretty strange way to choose to go for your master's. I have a bachelor's degree in international business and leadership. And I have board certified by Harvard. And I did some board education also at the Bay. So that's my academic background. House of Math was founded in 2006. Well, actually, I started in 2004, but that was all money off the books kind of enterprise. So at one point, I had so much money in my night drawer that I was like, I need to start paying tax. And I called my dad saying, Dad, I'm stealing taxes from the state. I need to do something. What do I do? And he's all, you have to form a company. And that's how House of Math came to. So that's kind of where we started. And it went actually quite fast. And I didn't really have any entrepreneurial plan. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't do any market research. It basically started just with me taking a pupil. And within a couple of months, I had 20 pupils, and it grew very fast. So then I decided, okay, so what do I do? Do I give them to others, or should I start hiring people? So then I started hiring people. And so that's happened. And that's how it has grown, really. And new projects has come too. And we've moved around, changed offices a couple of times. By now, we're sitting in Vika Atrium, just by Aker Brygge. And we're very happy there. I've written a lot of books on mathematics for the whole school system from 1st to 13th grade. And now, 2 weeks ago, we launched a portal called houseofmath.com, where you have everything you need in order to master math. That is the goal for the portal. And it's free, it's open. So whether you're in 5th grade but want to look into 8th grade or look into what's at videregående skole, it doesn't really matter. It's all open, all available, where you can chat with tutors, you can look into old exams, get access to all curriculum for the whole school system in Norway. And there are exercises where you can go and do boot camps. So that's kind of our latest thing to the House of Math. So it has grown in strange ways and ended up here. And now I'm at a cabin with a sprained ankle talking to you. So that's kind of the short recap, I guess.
So I'm going to stop you a little bit there, Geir, because she really doesn't know any of you. She doesn't even know why I invited her here.
No clue.
No clue.
No, but that's just perfect. That's just perfect. I just got to interject something, and that is now we have a person who has studied business and blah blah blah. And then you just launch yourself into this, and you have no business plan, no plan at all, and you just go. And this is something that's interesting to the viewers of this, because I meet a lot of people that are going to form a company, and what they spend all their time on is creating a business plan and walking around talking to investors, and then doing everything but actually doing the work. They're designing business cards, they're creating a web page, they're procrastinating like freaking hell, except for actually doing something to the people that are going to be getting the value
Yeah.
What you did was just launch yourself into actually tutoring pupils, and then that grew it without all this other stuff that people spend a lot of time on doing. And this is an excellent example of, you know, you got to deliver value to somebody. That is the main thing when you're creating a company, not all the other fuss.
Yeah, and it also comes down to one of the main mistakes entrepreneurs do is, do we have a market? Do I have a product or a service that people actually want? And what I ended up noticing was that I was just launched into a market I had no clue existed. And for certain reasons, what I did resonated with the students, and it kind of just grew organically all the way. So that was, to me, was quite interesting, to be honest with you. But after a while, I've ended up becoming very strategic. I mean, it's been 15 years now, and I do spend a lot of time on strategies and leadership and doing things in a proper fashion. Because getting into tutelage is very easy. You know, have a pen and paper, put your number up, go to the store, and you have a business if someone gives you a ring. But a lot of people see that it's difficult to go from a non-professional company and actually professionalizing it, having it right capitalized, getting the right people in, and actually making something out of it. And that was a transition too that demanded quite some change, to be honest with you, and really demanded a lot from me in order to find out, how do I fund this? Because I never thought about going out getting external investors, and just built it with the money I had. And then you have to use the crown on both sides and on the, on the thin side as well, in order to get most out of it. So I learned a lot from those, that way of doing things.
Yeah, but
it's been
all of
very
that,
interesting.
yeah, all of that comes after the passion, though.
Yeah.
Because the passion starts it, and then you have, and also if you go to investors, it's definitely easier if you have something other than just a plan. You have actual students, you have actual clients, and if you have that, the investors are more eager to listen to you because you have a proven case, more than just an idea with fancy papers and PowerPoint slides. So that is my point. You start with a passion, and then you can grow into professionalizing and getting the investors and all of that you actually did very well then.
Thank you.
Now, back to Catherine. Now,
Yes,
we?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're there. But should we just give a quick introduction, or do you want to do that, Catherine?
Yeah, of course. So Vibeke, we have done this a lot of times. We have a guy here who's talking a lot. he created this group on Facebook called Help Without Total Reward that I invited you to. And we have done this with some amazing people till now. It's really interesting people. And the idea is to share like free stuff for helping others, or Guide's idea actually. So that's, and Kenneth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually mentioned you, so I think, yeah, I will contact Vibeke. And we were almost neighbors also at Ammerud. So.
I can't believe you guys are still together. I remember when you guys became a couple. We were like 2.5 years old.
He buys her flowers every Friday.
Ever since. I think that's amazing. I've
you.
thought about that a couple of times through the years, seeing you guys on Facebook and everything. It's like, those guys are sticking together. I think that's great.
Yeah, and Guy and Brendan, they are co-workers, and Brian here, he's joining when he can. So, and we will share this later on the group. So, and Guy, maybe you want to fill me in on what you do, or Brendan, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Brendan and I are running a company called Å, just the last letter of the Norwegian alphabet. And we used to work together in a larger company, but I sold off all of that in 2012. And then I decided, okay, so Brendan is the perfect partner to do business with, and he is an excellent friend. And we have been doing Å since 2012, and we do all kinds of crazy stuff, but we have this strategy of zero growth, meaning we're not going to be any more people, but we have gotten a lot of pressure for people that wants to work with us. So we started making subsidiary companies instead. So the main company is still us too. And we do whatever is fun with the crazy people that we think are cool and where we can do an immense impact. Businesses, individuals, we coach athletes, artists on stage, we turn around companies, we work with the government, whatever it is. So, but all of this is like on the business side. We do rake in a hefty amount of money for that, but then we spend time, or that gives us the opportunities to spend time doing charity work as well, helping people who are in dire straits in life, people trying to kill themselves or, you know, self-hurting or whatnot, and also getting into even tutoring kids for that matter. But any person that needs some kind of help, it could be, you know, the drug dealer or the drug addict or whatever in the streets. It could be anybody. So so this group in Facebook is actually sort of the culmination of that, trying to encourage other people to do more helping without thought of reward, because there is always this marketing ploy: I help you and you become my customer, and then I can scrape you for all the money. But more of the giving without thought of reward. That was the purpose of this group. So there you have it. And Brennan is an amazing guy that everything he touches becomes gold. Brennan?
I think I was in on your website today and checked this this math website. It was really impressive. That's number one. I also saw that the Oslo Montessori School was a school that you cooperate with. I've worked there for 10 years, and I used to do actually math tutoring. It was one of those added bonuses. As teachers, we were able to do math tutoring, and there was like the perfect place was the Montessori School, because everything is at the young age, everything is concrete maths. So it's very little abstract. And that's like one question I'd like to ask. Have you noticed anything from Montessori kids, or do you even use like concrete material in tutoring?
Yeah, we do use concrete in tutoring. It really depends on who it is, what kind of student it is, what level they're at. Because tutoring is all about making that tailor-made learning experience. So I do whatever they need in order to get things done, to be honest with you. We have found, though, that both Montessori children and Steiner children is not necessarily super strong in math. And we hope that would change, to be honest. And I think that could be something about the pedagogy that is used up there, that it works for some subjects better than others, to be honest with you. But I mean, we love being up there, and Ellen, she's a great lady. So our collaboration is very good. And it was all sponsored by Christian Ringnes, who really cares about the school. So it's super nice. So your background.
That's a really nice thing to say. I just because Christian Ringnes is the type of person that a lot of people can criticize, but if you get to know the projects that he actually supports, the guy's pretty amazing.
Great.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy what he actually does in his spare time, whatever spare time he has.
Yeah, I mean, he has gotten so much shit for things that he's done. To me, is all about ignorance. The people that go out and criticize him, that just to me shows that, oh, so you forgot to do your homework before you decided to talk. But that's fine. I mean, a lot of people choose to go that way. It doesn't really pan out in good results often, but I think one should be careful. Christian does a lot of great work for a lot of different charities. So hooray for him.
Well, I also saw that you have samarbejdet with Vibeke School. I live at Rødtvet beside Katrine here, and I think Vibeke was on the school as well. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we've been at Linderud, we're at Haugenstua. We've done a lot of schools up through Groruddalen. Yeah. So are you still a teacher, or what do you do? Are you a business strategist, or?
I'm a business strategist that's trying this new makeup filter on Zoom today. So I've got nice lipstick on, and I've got extra thick eyebrows.
And you got Jerry's living room.
Yes.
You're
not my favorite Zoom person ever. Yes. She saw the Seinfeld.
Straight away. I was like, I've seen that living room before.
Brendan, what?
Respect.
Yeah, I was actually thinking you were celebrating Ellen Page becoming Elliot Page.
Respect.
You didn't
respect.
get. You didn't. If you see Umbrella Academy, the main actor Vanya, she is a trans person, and she came Page over to, I think, a couple of days ago, coming out as a trans person. So I was thinking you were celebrating that with your makeup.
But
no.
I can ask you a question. There's a lot of there's a guy that we still have to get on. We have to get Mikael from Good Order Taekwondo. We have to get him in one of these sessions. Mikael is like a crazy cool person, and involved
I know him.
with.
She's from here, so she knows him.
Okay, so then you know that.
Yeah, I'm
Mikael,
from Ammerud. I mean, so.
do you
I'm
know
from
my
the
wife?
block.
Do you know Margrethe? Margrethe Posterud, my wife? No.
Could be.
Because we're from Ammerud.
You're
We
the tough guys.
didn't blend so much with the Rødtvet.
Okay, but Mikael, one of the things that's really cool about him is that the Grorud Taekwondo club that one of my girls goes to, he never pressurizes the kids to pay. And he's like, anybody that wants to turn up and do Taekwondo, anybody that wants to do anything physical at all, come on, it's okay. I get it, you guys. Some of the prices on your website are a bit stiff.
They're
a
not.
bit like...
They're the
Okay.
same. Yeah, I mean, you are getting someone who is, educated from a university, and you're paying the same as you do with a cleaning lady. So it's not really steep. It's very cheap considered. If you take someone who's a lawyer, do 5 years of law studies, they start at 750 plus MBA. And we are still at 590. You get your cleaning lady without any form of education, about 450 to 800. So I think it's a great deal. So
Good answer.
and the thing is that I think
it's
that
a great answer.
The only reason
I think that
talk
answer
like
is really
that
good.
is because you're from Norway, and we expect education to be free.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when you're going to get great people to do things, you got to pay for it. I mean,
There you
you're
go.
buying a service.
Yeah,
So.
there you go. Now, I have something I would like to cover with you, but probably not in this Zoom call though, because I started, my background is mathematics and astrophysics. So I started perfect a way of teaching algebra to kids down to 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I got that pretty nailed down when they are 6 or 7. 5 is a little dicey because some get it and some don't, but at the age of 7, everybody gets it. And it takes about half an hour to actually get them to do A's and B's and X and Z's and everything like that is easy. And that concept and that way of doing it is something I would like to cover with you over a cup of coffee sometime.
Sure.
Because it's something that it would be interesting if you can sort of just take and use it and see what happens.
Yeah, sure. I'm interested.
Yeah,
whatever
and also,
makes us better is great.
Yeah, cool. Now, another thing is that when you do physics and chemistry, do you ever do like actual physical experiments and blow shit up? Do you do chemistry the right way?
Well, I don't think there's a right and a wrong way unless you start shooting chemistry and shit at people. That is a wrong way. Other than that, I think there's different ways of doing things. We both use a lab and we don't use a lab. We do things theoretically and we do things more experimentally. So it really depends. Some things are difficult to do and some things are easy to do. So these things that demand chemistry that it's hard to get, we don't do.
Okay.
So we can't do all kinds of experiments that you would kind of do in school. We don't do that. But some things we do.
Right, because I've been doing chemistry experiments with kids at summer schools. I mean, like really blowing shit up. I mean, thoroughly. Great bangs and all of that. So that's part of my background. So that's really cool to do because people get so excited when they can tie the equation to why did that shit blow up. and then it becomes really real to the kids. So yeah, it's fun.
It is very
So-
much.
What's
Yeah.
the goal for House of Math? We got like this, like a dream of like in 10
Well,
years.
So now we're building this math portal, which is going to be the #1 go-to math resource in the world. So that's the plan.
Cool. That's nice. and
That is
simple.
cool. Yeah, that's really cool, because that empowers a whole generation of people who are, you know, contributing to getting humanity to Mars, or whatever it is, or forwarding IT, or, you know, finance calculations, or stopping the next financial.
So our vision is easy access to learning.
Yeah.
That, you
And-
know, that overlaps really nice with some projects we're doing. So if you're interested in getting House of Math into schools in Somaliland, which is the world's poorest non-recognized country, where both me and Guy were last year, visiting girls' schools with the hope of finding the world's best programmer in a girls' school in Somaliland. That'd be like that. I mean, that would just be like totally amazing to be able to launch this in like just places that you think this can't happen. That'd be so nice.
Yeah, what we're looking also into is, I mean, you see people living on the street, but they still have some kind of Android and iPhone,
Yeah.
which tells you that internet is here to stay, and that more people are getting internet and they're prioritizing that over basic needs somehow. But they still don't have access to education. So if we can build this portal where you have access to everything from 1st to 13th grade, you make it in a way that it works with the school system in the country you are, and you keep a lot of it free in a way that it doesn't matter if you have money or not. If you can access an internet, it's going to be available to you. I think that could be just an amazing thing.
Now, Brandon and I have been doing quite some work in Eastern Africa, including Somaliland and Kenya and Tanzania. And some of the reason why people are hooked on an Android phone, but still have basic needs not covered, is because that is for them a basic need, because that's the only way they can actually communicate with grandma, who is living freaking hours away. And it's the only way they can get money to grandma, because they skipped all the bank evolution and jumped straight onto paying via phone, even in 2005 in Tanzania.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and then they can shuffle money via what they did have in 2005 was VIPs. They had the same system in 2005. We got it a lot later, but for them it's the backbone of how to ensure grandma is not starving without having to travel for 10 hours. So
yeah, that's very interesting.
It's an interesting evolution, and this is part of it. And also they are much more connected to family still than we are, and more, you know, talking to all the great family. I mean, Brennan and I were in a friend's wedding in Tanzania, and there is like 500 people coming to a wedding, or 2,500 people coming, and all of these people are communicating. Well, it makes sense
though. The thing is that in Norway, we have built a community where we are expecting the government to pick up all our bills and take care of us no matter what it is, and not really putting much effort into it ourselves. Which means that when we have a problem, we expect someone else to clean up our messes or make sure that it works out. That is one of the great things about the democratic system that we have. On the other hand, it also makes us very selfish, egotistical, and self-centered. We do not stand up for our fellow people like you would see in countries where the government don't pay or don't make things as easy as we have it here in Norway. So it doesn't really, it isn't much a big surprise. It makes sense that we have a government who is our mom and grandma and sisters and whatever we need, they'll take care of us. While when you're talking about Tanzania or these other places, they need their actual grandma, their actual siblings, and their actual mom, because there's no one there to take care of them.
Yeah.
So
and also,
sorry, Guy, can
Yeah, and also there is the tribal culture as well. So it's all integrated into, yes, but you're completely right. Okay, Catherine.
Vibeke, do you have a country that you like really want to launch this idea? That
USA.
USA? Yeah.
Because I mean, that country is so sick in so many ways. It's not a healthy country. I mean, getting a higher education now costs a fortune. I mean, I was in hospital all last week. I had several CTs. I have an ultrasound. I had X-rays. I had all kinds of shit being done to me. And when I got from there, I got a bill for 63 crowns. 60 is not even $6. If I was an American citizen and this has happened to me in the US, the bill would have been millions. So to me, giving easy access to education, like this is one of the things I find to be very upsetting about the Norwegian society. People think that the reason why the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and that the divide is getting bigger is because of formueskatt, which is just a lot of crap. The big problem is that the school system doesn't really tell you how the real world works. Things that, let's just take homework, the whole debate about homework. The problem here is that people like me and people with resources are always going to do our homework, even though there is no homework. Because we understand that if I don't learn this, I'm not going to move forward. I'm not going to get into whatever school I need to get into. I'm not going to be able to get the education I want. I'm not going to be able to move forward in life. Which means that if you ask me or not, I don't really care. I'm going to go and do the work. If most people then are told that, well, I don't have any homework, so I don't have to do anything. Well, if I do homework then, just an hour every day, I'm going to end up through the year to have worked 365 hours more than you, which means that if we say that 1950 hours, that is 1 year. And we say that I work 400 hours more a year than you do. There's not that many years before I'm going to run by you so fast. And this is what creates big gaps. And a good society has small gaps. And unless we can get this information across, this is going to be one of our downfalls. So to me, I want to get education out there to everyone. And a lot of people who grow up where you and I grow up, Katrina, who needs to know that those who are out there you're going to compete against, they do the job they're not even asked to do. So if you're going to compete, at least you need to do what you need to do. And then we have to say we need homework, because that's one way to keep the gap smaller, which to me is very important, because good society has small differences. So this is one of the reasons I want to go to the US. There are so many great people who are lost to circumstance, so many great people who are lost to, well, I didn't come from a resourceful family, being it educated family or monetary resourceful family. And there are 100 million people who are in that lot in the US.
Have you
That's why it's so important to go out there and get education across to everyone, so everyone get a level playing field and everyone gets to participate and gets to be a part of the competition if they choose to be so.
Have you thought about which age group, or do you think like from the start to the end of the education, or everything?
Yeah, so the portal now has everything from first grade, which is like 5-6 years old, until end of high school, so year 13. So I want everyone to get help, and parents too. I mean, there are so many parents who are like, I don't know how to teach math. I don't know the math myself. What do I do? And well, why shouldn't they be able to log on and learn math? Read it, with their children, learn together, make a thing out of it. There are so many opportunities, and all we need to do is give them access.
Now I have a plan. Now,
Yes.
what if we did this? We a couple of weeks ago we had Amani, who is a good friend of us in Tanzania. His father has built, I don't know, 67 schools across Tanzania, and now his son Amani Jr., our friend, is then building his first school, and getting concrete, making the bricks, actually doing the work of building the school, and then running it afterwards. Now, if they could be one of the sort of the clients in a way, using your free resources, being in an example, if it can be done in Tanzania, obviously it can be done in the US. It can be done anywhere if you can make it work in a very poor country with very little resources. But yes, there is a pipeline to the internet there. So if we can sort of make that a showcase of your math portal, that would be cool, because then we can export it around the world. And this is one of the reasons why we started kickassprogrammers.org, where we, as Brendan said, we search for girls in Somaliland to become kick-ass programmers. Because if somebody can be a kick-ass programmer, being a girl in a predominantly Muslim country who is dirt poor, not recognized even as a country, then it can be done anywhere. Then there is no barrier. If somebody comes along in China and says, I can't do it, well, they can, you can. So if we can try to make a showcase out of your portal in Tanzania in the new school that Amani is building, I think that would be a cool start.
Yeah,
What's the language there?
It's English. It's English.
Yeah, so then you can do it twice over.
Yeah. And it doesn't even, the thing is that it doesn't even require any work from you. It doesn't even require hours from you. It only requires that you sort of bless them and say, yes, I would like to, use our name and use our portal, and this is really cool. And then when that works, it comes back to you as a showcase. It can be done.
Yeah, it can be done, but it needs to be translated into English. The portal today is in Norwegian.
Yeah, but as you want to launch in the US,
yes,
I think we can piggyback on your launch in the US by creating sort of a charitable expression in Tanzania at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be really good to use actually a community version of that. It's just like, how do you translate Firefox into a different language? You just give it out to the world and say, anybody want to translate this? And so many people just jump onto projects, and you see like how much % is being done in different languages. And that's how Firefox gets translated to over 100, and I don't know how many languages, 150 languages across the world. It's just like, just give it to the world. The internet is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing
the same with
what
Wikipedia.
people do.
Yeah. And then, people are translating Wikipedia wholesale. I mean, tens of millions of pages all over the place. So, and then you can get your House of Math translated, I think, without any effort almost, into Swahili, which would cover the whole of the Eastern Africa.
Well, I'm not really sure if that is the case, because as we're doing mathematics, having someone who don't know mathematics translate it is quite a risky
we're talking about
situation.
we're talking about people who know mathematics. Like Amani is a master in mathematical finance in Tanzania. So
yeah,
there are people that would be
do that, which is great.
Vibeke, I will connect you, or I will give you. You can. I will show him off to you. He's a really cool guy. But
perfect.
Yeah, but back to Norway. How is the situation around mathematics in Norway? Like, kids, are we falling behind, or do you feel like we are?
Well, the thing is that it's about 5 weeks ago, there was a new report coming out saying that we are not doing very well in maths and reading, and it's worse than it's been in several years, which is really sad. The problem with mathematics is that your mathematics grade is the first indicator of how you're going to do. So the biggest reason why people fall outside the working force is due to their mathematics degree or lack of as a mathematics grade. Torbjørn Røe Isaksen, our Minister of Work and Trade, I think that's called. He just told this on the radio about 2 months ago or so. So the math grade is pivotal to how you feel. And a lot of people feel that if your math grade is bad, you're stupid. If your math grade is good, you are a genius. And there's nothing in between. But I mean, I flunked math. Now I'm a lecturer in math and physics. There's the same brain in here. It's not, I didn't have a brain transplant between those two situations. So it's all about making an effort. And that's one of the things that I'm worried about when it comes to the school system, is that, or the way our society moves. So we are so afraid of offending people. We are so afraid of people feeling hurt or being uncomfortable, that we are willing to go to great lengths in order to spare people from uncomfortable situations. To me, this is a mistake. In order to grow, in order to learn, in order to be able to take care of yourself, you shall not be spared from uncomfortable situations. You need to be taught how to manage them.
Now,
And
this plays
to me is-
straight into our new business. Brenda and I are starting a company called Å Krenke,
yeah,
which is a company where you learn how to deal with shit going your way, and we drill people to the hilt when it comes to drilling people. If they are uncomfortable in the presence of, you know, sexual harassment, we harass them verbally, sexually, to the point where they can handle it. And the same comes with any kind of things that you're touchy about. We can drill you to the point where you're not touchy anymore. So instead of actually tiptoeing around it and demanding that the universe around you do not harass you or do not put you in an uncomfortable situation, we go the other way around. We make you unfuckwithable.
yes. Well, I think exposure therapy is it has shown to be useful in many situations. I agree with that. But I think that at the same time, I mean, when we are in a society where people get so offended so easily, to me, it's just a sign of weakness. I mean, I was like, so, okay, so somebody said you had a big ass, or somebody said, well, maybe you do. But you can't say that. No, you shouldn't say that. It's offensive. But I mean, so what are you going to do about it? Get over it. I mean,
John Cleese has some really good clips on that. He is like
He
really,
does.
you know, yeah, he is a great guy when it comes to these things. Yeah.
But Vibeke, do you
So,
feel like
Vibeke, do you get?
I'm just going, do you feel like this is related to the math situation in Norway, that we don't push the children enough, or if they don't want to do it, then they will complain, and then the mother will come, and then the teacher will give up, and the mother doesn't understand it, so then we like don't push the children enough, or do you like?
I think that really depends on the family, but I think in general, the generation that you and I are a part of, and the way that we are parents, is that we are also very into making sure that we are comfortable and making sure that we are best friends with our children, which is something I feel is humongously ridiculous. The most idiotic thing I read on Facebook is, my best friend forever, the most awesome person I know, is turning 5 years old. Grown-up people age 30 shouldn't have 5-year-olds as their best friends. It's very unhealthy. Find people your own age. And there are also another problem, which I find to be very strange, is that how could you put the responsibility on a 5-year-old to be a grown person's best friend? That's just messed up. And when being a parent is all about we're BFF forever, ever, that is very, I don't think that is healthy. I think that as a parent, you should focus on being a good parent, a good role model, or a good guidance, someone who says no, someone who dares saying this is not okay, someone who dares being unpopular, because children want boundaries. And then you could hope that you could become friends when you get older. But 40, 30-year-olds shouldn't have best friends age 10. It's not normal. It's not supposed to be that way. I'm sure of it. To be honest, I'm sure of it.
Now,
Also, I
this-
don't
what-
even like when people say, "Oh, my princess, a princess was born today." No, she's not. She's not a part of the royal family. And why would you start your daughter or niece's life putting her into a fairy tale she can never, ever obtain? Call her a president instead.
now,
a president was born today.
When I
Because that could actually be attained.
when I blog this, I'm just gonna paraphrase it by thought-provoking : and then
Yeah, just don't put my name on it. Yeah, just don't put my name on it.
I will put your name
until
on it.
they listen through it, so they get the whole context. I'm not into getting very unpopular these
Yeah, yeah.
days. It's-
Going
but
on
I
the
think it's
question-
important that we
No,
dare
but
talk about
it's
things
not.
that it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's not about it's not about popular or not. It's about thought-provoking, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. But
So
but I think that's important.
we do a lot of mental
Yeah, it
training
is.
with teenagers that are pretty good in sports, but we never actually get. It's always somebody who's struggling, someone who can maybe do a little bit better, and it would be really nice to get people that are really good and do mental training with teenagers that are already really good in something. Do you ever get many people asking for math tutoring that are already really good, or do you just get the
Yeah.
strugglers? You don't
No,
just get
we get the whole lot.
Yeah.
And I like that. Because what we know is that even the best students have the same problems as the weakest students. Their struggles are very much the same. So we know that we have to take care of everyone across the board. But that's what I think is so important, though. That's why I believe in education. I think it's such a tremendous important thing, is that the only way you get a level playing field is if everyone is given a chance to get the education. But it's not only about getting the ability to go to school or the opportunity to go to school. It's also about knowing how to do school. Someone teaches you, how do I master school? How do I master different subjects? How do I have to study? How do I have to read? What do I have to do? So the very best students in my class, what do they do that I don't do? How much do they work? Because they work a lot, if you ask them. Even though they like to say that I don't do anything. I don't even read the book, but I know what's inside it, which I find to be very fantastic. The thing is that we need to get everyone also informed on, why do you go to school? In Norway, we really don't talk that much about why. What is the meaning of going to school? Everyone just does it. But why? It's because we're going to be prepared for adult life. Because we are going to be put in a situation where we have competencies that makes us be able to do different types of jobs. But how many jobs are you really exposed to during the first 10 years in school? Not that many, really. Because we're all about school and playing and being happy and playing in school. And we don't really know. So why do you want to do this? Why do I need to do this? Because if you want to go to that place in order to work with these things, you have to know that. So I think that if we were greater at contextualizing school in terms of what the four of us talking here does, how we use what we learn in school in order to do what we do today, it would be much more interesting to learn maths or Norwegian. I mean, one of my big terrors is that a lot of people coming out of school and don't know how to write proper Norwegian or proper English. They really just don't know how to write. They can't even see when something is misspelled, or if the nouns are in the right place, or the level of writing is very low. And I find that to be sad, because that means when I get things read, I was like, I have to redo this, which is twice the amount of work for me. So I'm wondering whether secretaries are getting a new renaissance, because so many people are not able to write good Norwegian, good English. So we need to get people who knows these skills in order to go back and rephrase and rewrite things. I'm wondering if that's going to happen. So I think these things would be better if we had a greater context as to why. Why do we go here? Also talk about money more. So why? Let's see my socks. I'm going to show you my socks. My awesome socks. I got them for Christmas from my mom. So my mom knitted these socks. Let's say that took her 20 hours. Let's just say. So if that is 20 hours and she was paid 300 crowns an hour, these socks are worth 6,000 crowns. I would never pay 6,000 crowns for a pair of socks. I find that to be very expensive. And that's before we even bought the yarn. So someone decided that $6,000 socks. Ooh, that is a bit tall order. We need to get this done cheaper. How do you do that? We get them manufactured in China. But nobody really talks about these things. I want a new pair of sneakers. Well, of course you do. The sneakers you want are super awesome. But do you know how much mom and dad have to work in order to be able to buy those sneakers? So if they're $1,000 sneakers and mom and dad are 300 crowns an hour, but they have to pay tax. So let's just say that it's 50% tax. So they have to work a bit more than 3+ hours, but that was before tax, which means that we need to get like 7 hours. So mom and dad have to work from 8 to 4, because you have to put the lunch break in, for one whole day in order to buy a pair of sneakers. So
And that day there is no food on the table.
Exactly. So what we say is that, so I tell some of my parents saying, yes, of course I'm going to get you the sneakers, but you are going to work for them as much as I have to work in order to buy them. So I have to work 8 hours to buy those sneakers. So now you are going to contribute in the household with chores for 8 hours to get them. That would really put things into perspective. Perspectives, I believe, we need to know. We need to understand. That's also another worry I have. I feel that we as a nation, we are so extremely spoiled that a lot of people don't really understand how value is created, what goes into earning money or making those workplaces where we go every day. And I think that also should be more incorporated in the way that we talk in our debate in this country. So we better understand what goes into hard work and how things are created. Because how I feel is that most of the time, those who go out and create places where you can go to work, create companies, they're most of the time just told that you don't pay enough tax. And I feel that is an unfair picture. A lot of great people are working really hard to try to create workplaces and work for so many people. The way that everyone who hasn't created a workspace but goes to work somewhere does a hell of a job being a good employee. It takes two to tango, you know?
This all adds to my headline, thought-provoking. This is cool.
But do you think it's provoking that?
No. I'm not. It's not my opinion on this. It's more like I understand definitely where you're coming from. I agree with what you're saying, and but the thing is, you're not stressing this and you're not passionate about this because everybody agrees with you.
No,
Because exactly, because if everybody agreed with you, you wouldn't
this would
put
not be a
strength.
problem.
Yeah, you wouldn't even talk about it, right? So the fact that you're stressing this, the fact that you're passionate about this, means that there are people out there who would think this is thought-provoking, obviously.
Possibly. Or
Yeah.
just that they haven't really thought about it in this way.
Meaning
Because
it's still provoking their thought to start thinking about it that way.
Yeah, but with the connotation of provoking as a word, I would say that it's more igniting a new way of thinking or seeing things in a different light without actually being very provocative, and more like,
But then
I
we
didn't
have a
really
different
thought about
word.
it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then we have a different definition, because I think anything that provokes a person to think differently is not negative in any way. I'm thinking I like to be provoking in the fact that people start thinking in new paths, or getting enlightened in different ways, or discovering new angles to something. And I use the word provoking here completely in a positive sense.
Yeah, and I'm very happy you see it that way. I do, however, believe that the word has some kind of negative connotation to it in general. But I agree with the way you want to use it, as long as it's explained. I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
I got another
Okay.
question. I got another question. I think you got a lot of really nice answers. So I want to sneak in another question. That's the idea of syllabuses in school, with the classic idea that teachers aren't helping the students that are managing, for example, maths. They're doing okay. So the efforts put into pulling other people up. And as long as we get everybody through the syllabus for the year, then the school looks good because the right amount of people pass the exam, the right amount of people pass the exam. It looks good in these PISA scores, etc. So your idea on syllabuses in school, like, are they?
I think that the way we write syllabi in Norway is not really the optimal. I'm more into the way they do it in Singapore, which is much more concrete. I do believe there are so many teachers out there who work their asses off trying to do the best they can with the people they have. I mean, you would not in professional life have one leader having 30 people report to them. You would never do that, because you would say that's just insane. One person following closely 30 people? No. We've had some teams with like 5, 6, 7 people, and you'd have a team leader, and the team leader would then report to the next level. However, in schools, we expect that this is going to work with, miniature people, kids. And kids, their brains are not fully developed. Many of them are on hormone trips, crazy as hell, because they're teenagers. But we have no belief that it's going to work with adults who are rational, well, to whatever extent we are rational, however rational enough, who feel some kind of purpose to what they're doing and they understand why. It's not doable in that situation, but we expect it to work in Norwegian schools. To me, that's crazy. And then we go out and yell at the teachers. I mean, one of the most important things to me is that if you want someone to succeed, you need to put people in a situation where they are able to succeed. So I find that teachers in general are being put in an extremely difficult position, because they're supposed to understand 30 plus people at all times, running circles in the classroom, thinking all kinds of ways. I mean, in a standard Norwegian classroom, research shows that there is a gap between the strongest and the weakest pupil of up to 8 years. 8 years. And you, as a teacher, are expected to go into the classroom and come up with a way to teach that is going to hit both marks and everyone in between. That is a tall order. I mean,
yeah,
being a teacher is one of the most difficult jobs you can have.
You know, the thing about 1 to 30 is obviously insane, as you say, and the limit usually becomes 1 to 8. That's about the limit in the business world, and that is parallel to the limit of how many people you can handle, even if you're a black belt, ace dan taekwondo guy. You can handle up to 8 opponents if you're extremely good. But if you have one more than that, they will just pile up on you and they will, you know, crush you. And the same thing comes in the business world. If you have too many people are underneath you reporting to you, and you have to take care of everybody's needs, etc., it becomes overwhelming and you just break down. And for a teacher, this is obvious because it's 1 to 30, so it's completely out of whack.
Yeah, and I mean, also something that we should talk about, which means when you do a comparison between the professional world and the school system, there are so many ways. I think that it would be easier if we had more debate around these things without people being very offended all the time, because it kills the debates. I mean, if you go into a room and we all believe that I want to listen to what you have to say, and I'm going to believe that you're not going to attack me, I am going to be so open to what you have to say. And even if you're really offensive, I will not judge you in that way or think that, oh, you are being offensive in order to take me down. Because we are here to try to share. And of course, I was not so good at saying things the way I wanted to say. They came out wrong. I'm sorry. But let's talk about the matter at hand and really expand that. Think about what we can do. I mean, that would be great.
Yeah, agreed. Fully agreed.
Awesome.
Now, Catherine.
Yep.
We've done this for an hour now.
Yeah, it went fast this time.
It went very fast.
Katrina usually stops us after 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's happening. Katrina is like, she fainted or something.
But what we have to do in the
it's interesting because I also like, I'm in the baby swimming business. I meet the children when they're 6 weeks old, and even them we need to like make the parents understand what kind of job but the teachers and what they have to do. So this is quite I think a lot of people need to like listen to this, and it demands hard work to live. So I think this is great.
Maybe you should adopt the 1 to 30 paradigm of having one and they will see like 20 kids drown, which is actually what is happening in the school system. There's a lot of students drowning, I mean, in a metaphorical sense, because there is not enough teachers.
And I think this also is like a really bad circle, that it's like a lot of teams or because we don't follow up on anything, like if they get bullied, even they get like don't care about it, just go aside, and the bullies keep going. And yeah, it's
also what we don't talk about. It's like we are human. Like I'm human, which means that I am programmed to mess up. It's in my DNA to mess things up. It's in my DNA to do mistakes, like I fell outside, sprained my ankle, and fell into a pole and did like a snow angel face down. It looked very ridiculous. It was around 5 o'clock today. I mean, as a human, I am programmed to do things wrong, to make mistakes. And I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm programmed to age as well. I'm programmed to say things that I don't really mean that way, but it came out wrong. All these things. And why can't we also talk about that? Yeah. Being human. It's not an excuse to be an asshole, but it is some kind of excuse to be a bit more understanding. It's like, where are you coming from? Why do you say these things? What are you trying to say? And not be so judgmental. Try to find out, okay, is Katrina not trying to hurt me? Or was she not really thinking straight? Or did it come out wrong? Let me ask a control question. Did you mean so-and-so? Yeah, I meant so. Oh, well, that's fine. Or sometimes you meant something very offensive, and I'll say, I think that's very offensive. Not really cool.
I
It's
think
just
I think we
it's
will wrap.
important.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think you explained it really good in the beginning. As we are born as princes and princesses, this will be hard.
Yes.
So I think this is a great way of wrapping it up. We have to work hard, and then we will get the results we want, and it demands that out of us. So
And we
This would
are
take-
not perfect.
yeah,
We are
This would-
fallible.
we have to take the links of House of Math and
Yeah.
this we tar ansvar, put it into our group and make it very visible.
Yes,
I mean, like,
because
Please,
it's,
and if you
it's,
could put
it-
out the portal as well, houseofmath.com. That'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's where all the free
Because
resources are.
yeah, exactly. Any free resource, anything that can help kids through their parents being part of this group is definitely part of the purpose of this group. So that's excellent.
Perfect.
yeah, and you have
Cool.
you
Now this
still
was
have
really
to-
good. This is interesting.
So
Thank
maybe
you so
we-
much
One,
for
Katrina.
having me.
Yeah, so maybe we will do a follow-up, Vibeke, on how you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brendan is like sharing here, so
Yeah.
crazy.
I
That
think
was
that's
cool. It
great.
was really nice to meet you. It was really nice to listen to some of your thoughts. I thought that was it was real fun, and it's like this is sort of like the goal of these get-togethers that we have. It's like just get some thoughts going and see what happens.
Well, thank you. I'm very
Really
happy to
nice.
be here. I thought it was a great conversation. I've enjoyed myself.
Good luck with your
That's cool.
ankle.
Well, thank
And the
you.
socks.
We
Yeah, the
you get back-
6,000 crown socks.
if you get
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
if
And
you
say
get back
hello
to
to your
Oslo,
mother.
yeah, if you get back to Oslo, let us know when you're coming back because we know the best physio that can fix your ankle pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
definitely. Trond is
Thank you.
a magician. The
Oh,
Phoenix
that's
Clinic.
brilliant.
Yeah, he's a magician. He does top athletes, Olympic type of athletes.
We'll
etc.
send you his contact, his telephone number, and you should give him a call.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. I appreciate it.
So thanks for
Sure.
coming, or thanks for talking to us, Vibeke.
Screenshot.
We
Screenshot.
need a
welcome.
screenshot.
Wait. Crazy guys. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.